Good news, everyone. We hit the record button.
Welcome to The Ugly Truth. This is episode 615.
Woohoo! I'm back. Ugh.
Yeah, so I lied. Stephanie's not coming back yet.
I poisoned her.
She's on a secret mission. She's a drug mule.
A drug mule.
For the cartel. And she's stuck on the Rio Grande.
Nice.
She promises that she'll be back in the States. So that we may record.
Can we just do the whole show doing backstories for why Stephanie's not here?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you have to guess which one is true.
One of these is true. Something is true.
Something is true.
But I maintain that she's a coyote. She'll be back.
She's a coyote.
She'll be back in California eventually. All right. Well, welcome to The Ugly Truth. So this is a last minute recording because Stephanie is stuck in Mexico. But until then, it's really appropriate that you are sitting in for her today because I had read an article not that long ago that melatonin actually doesn't help you sleep. It's this data that they're doing, this new data that they're doing about how melatonin actually doesn't help you sleep or regulate your sleep like people think it does or something.
So it does something different but has a similar effect?
I promise you I did not read the whole thing, but okay. I read enough to know that they said no melatonin. And then everybody's like, well, then when I take it, why am I sleepy?
Right.
Because you're not taking pure melatonin. You probably have something like valerian root in it, which is exactly, and that will knock you on your butt.
Yeah.
I've accidentally overdosed on valerian root. I know exactly what it does. It's an amazing natural herb that makes you very, very tired. It's literally nature's Xanax or
sleeping pill.
What's the word? Muscle relax. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so glad. I assume that the indigenous people of this world found it and now we have it. And I'm so happy about that because it's great. Anyway, my melatonin has valerian root in it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense because it's not the melatonin. It's definitely the valerian root that makes you sleepy.
Okay.
But what melatonin I think does is gives you crazy dreams. Crazy dreams, very realistic, vivid dreams. That I can attest. When I take melatonin when I'm really, really tired, even the valerian or whatever, I have the most vivid dreams. And they're so real that I almost can't believe that I'm dreaming it. It's crazy. I feel like I can feel and touch things in my dream, like realistically. So last week, I had a very real dream that you were having some health issues.
Awesome. I
dreamt that you were like doing the dishes or something. And I come in and you were making this really weird face. And I go, what's wrong? That
is a bad dream.
I go, what is wrong? And you said stroke.
I said okay.
You said stroke.
All right.
Then. I was like, holy shit.
Wait,
so
is this table wood?
I had my phone in my dream. I dial 911. I'm holding you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, hold on. They're coming. And then in my dream, the window, I see the fire truck race right by our house.
Oh, jeez.
Like they didn't catch the address.
So it's the same guy as the DoorDash driver? They just can't never find our house?
Exactly.
Oh, awesome.
Wrong lane, wrong address.
Jesus.
Whatever. Anyway, I'm like, no, they're going to make it because I like literally had the operator on the phone. I'm like, no, they went to the wrong one. We have 3 different. I went through the whole thing that we always do. And I'm holding you and you start feeling better. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it wasn't a stroke. Maybe it was a seizure. And I said that to you. I go, I'm wondering if you're having a seizure, not a stroke, which would be great because a stroke is far worse than a seizure. And you're like, I don't know, but I'm starting to feel better. I'm like, okay, well, just can you not get up and, whatever. And,
I'm sure I wanted to get up.
You wanted to get up immediately and you wanted to do something. I'm like, stop, just hold on. And then we were talking, waiting for the fire department and you started having another seizure. And I said, okay, See,
I was right.
And so I'm holding you.
Okay.
And
like, am I on the floor here or something? Okay.
And I'm holding you, like cradling your head and your shoulders. And I'm holding you. And of course, because this is how I deal with trauma and any kind of horrible emergency.
Here comes the humor.
I go, remember when I told you that if anything happened to you and you were incapable of walking or doing anything, and I said I wouldn't take care of you, and that this thing that we got going on would be over.
Yeah.
I said, well, I lied.
Aww.
I said, I'll do it.
That's nice.
Thank you. And you're honey. Like, seizure. You're just seizure. And so, so I woke up and I was like really troubled by that dream. I'm like, well, first of all, it's really good to know that when shit gets real, I would actually take care of my partner in sickness and in health, which is good.
Love.
But then all of the things that come with that potential stuff happen. So I told you about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, well, that's nice that you would care for me. Yeah. And I'm like, no. I go, but, you would probably have like, diapers and things like that. I go, would you want me to like change your diaper and stuff? Do you remember?
I remember this conversation.
What'd you say?
The answer is no.
No. So I'd have to hire somebody.
Right.
Because you wouldn't want me to do it. Now, to be fair, I have no interest in changing an elderly man's dirty diaper. I don't know how this got like. Now, did I have a stroke again? Now I have it. Was it an actual stroke? Or was this just kind of the after? Like what? It was the after of what if. I'm like, first of all, you are never.
Because please tell me you weren't changing my diapers in your dream.
No.
Because you and I are going to have a chat.
Not at all. But you and I were talking afterwards about the aspect of one of us having a stroke and having to be cared for by the other.
Because we talked about a show.
And I said, what I said was, I think it's really imperative that you're the one that has the stroke, because I had another dream the next night about me having the stroke. And
this is feeling really jinxy. I need you to be careful.
And I said to you, outside of the dream and reality, I said, I really think it has to be you that is compromised, because I don't think that you can provide me with the level of care that I want.
You don't feel well.
That I want, that I deserve. And
you're a fully functioning, healthy human, and I can't do that. So I can't imagine that would be the case if you were stroking.
I just think you're gonna do something, and you'll be like, is that okay? And there'll be a lot of that. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
And you're going to be nervous and anxious because you're going to know it's not good enough, and it'll be just it'll be a thing. Yeah. And so it's just, I think it's really important that if one of us is going down, it's got to be you, which led us into another discussion about how this would be an amazing sitcom. And you said, yeah, let's call it Strokey. And I said, and the irony will be that's her last name.
Her last name.
But it has to be a girl who's expects 5-star quality the time.
Rebecca Strokey.
Yeah, it has to be all. Yeah, exactly. And she's accustomed to 5-star care,
of course,
and top of the line everything. And now she's got this very dedicated partner who wants to give her the best quality of care.
She's got a green hoodie that says Stroke Diva on the front.
Whatever. No, because Strokey is her last name.
I know, but now she's had one. So
she's going to have some kind of commemorative jersey that the local team gave her, because they're rallying around this community person.
She used to play girls lacrosse, so she has a jersey with the number 8. She has Strokey on the back.
She has a jersey, a commemorative jersey from the local pro team, and it says Strokey on the back. God. And there will be some horrific photo of her in the press of her being Strokey, and it will say Strokey across her sweatshirt, and people will be like, that's really rude, and that's really cruel and harsh, and it will go viral, and she'll be like, no, my name is Strokey. Yes, I had a stroke. But, and then, chaos ensues. And I just think it's a brilliant idea for a show.
Let's sit down and write this right now.
I don't think it could be on like ABC Family Night.
No, it's not going to make television at all.
Although, I mean,
it's not going to happen.
Here's the thing with cable news, or not cable news, but with shows like ABC, NBC, primetime networks, is this. They do shit like this, except they put sad music and there's a lot of tears behind it. They make millions of dollars doing that. For example, there's a Doogie Howser doctor on ABC who is on the spectrum, and they've done a whole show on that.
Yeah, but they would never. Yeah.
There is a show called A Million Little Things, which is almost too hard to watch. It's so terrible. Everybody has cancer and everyone's dying. Like, so what's wrong with having a really young, attractive woman having a stroke and make it a comedy? I don't see a problem with it. I'm sure you could wrap it up into a Disney bow and make it work. I know it. But it has to be like, she has to be constantly constantly unsatisfied. There can't be a lesson. Yeah. No lessons. Yeah. This is just the thing.
The interesting thing that you're right, the one way that it could get by is because it's not a disability per se. It's something that happens.
It's something that happens.
Right. So I think maybe there's some there.
She literally could have had a stroke because she was some kind of biathlete, although
it doesn't matter.
Who likes top of the line 5-star everything. I mean, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has to be something that has humbled her, and yet her attitude has not changed.
Yeah, that part has promise regardless of the scenario, right? Like somebody who's used to 5-star service gets completely humbled.
But it has to be, her last name has to be Strokey. I will not bend on this. I won't bend on it.
Listen, network executives, it is a deal breaker if you don't want to name this person Strokey.
It has to be Strokey. And you can call it Strokey. The show can even be called Strokey. I mean, the irony has to be there. It has to be so inappropriately funny. I'm not changing on it. I won't. And if they say no, we won't do it, I'm like, I'm walking. Bye.
I'm walking.
I can do it on YouTube by myself.
Talking to Netflix.
Right. Anyway, it was good to know. It was refreshing to know that I actually would take care of you if something happened. I thought that was nice because I really thought that I would just pay people to take care of you.
I mean,
and I would just come in and sit and hang out with you, but I wouldn't do any of the care.
There would be some limits.
But I will. Well,
but you would have to.
You would have to dictate the limits because I would do just about anything except for a couple things. Yeah. And I can tell you this: you better work really freaking hard because you're not doing anything if anything happens to me. I won't allow it.
Why do you work so hard? I have to be able to pay a team to take care of Jamie.
You will assemble a team. That is correct, because you won't be doing anything. I'll be like, get away. There will be none of that. You don't need gloves for anything. Get out. Not happening.
Great. That's good.
I'm so mentally exhausted now. I'm drained.
Solid.
Drained by it.
The valerian root dreams.
Yeah. I think it is the melatonin valerian root dreams. If I have any other ones, we'll make it a segment.
No, yeah, dream analysis. You don't have to analyze that.
No, there's no dream analysis.
Analyze that one.
That was practically a hallucination. Okay, so really quick, the Kings are playing. I'm sure by the time this comes out, we'll have a result of if they're going to the next round or if they lost in Sacramento. I am so curious. I read an article today that said the Kings are so young, they're making the Warriors look old and tired.
Yeah, well, they think the dynasty's over if this ends this way. So we'll see.
I don't know about that. I mean, they are a more mature team for sure.
Yeah.
But you can't discount the experience. I mean, we've discussed this ad nauseum when it comes to sports.
It will come down to who makes the most shots. That's the way basketball works.
I don't like to predict because I haven't been following basketball since the early 2000s.
It's kind of a no-lose situation for the Kings, right?
Right.
So if they win, it's huge, obviously. Yeah. If they lose,
they have nothing to be
lost
ashamed of.
In 7 to the world champs.
Yep.
And it's the first time they've been to the playoffs in years, and they won the. Yeah, it's a huge step forward.
A win's
a
win
sure.
For them. There's nothing to be ashamed of if they lose today. But I think they're gonna win.
I said 3 games ago. I said 3 games ago that if they can push it to 7, if they can get that win in the Bay Area, then they got a shot. So again, not huge basketball fans, but March Madness and this kind of local playoff stuff is great.
I will say this, and then we can move on. I am not accustomed to local teams that I follow throughout the season not choking in the end. Yeah. I'm like, when they legitimately won Game 6 with 3 minutes to go, and they were just not going to lose.
When Curry was sitting on the bench with a towel
when they pulled their stars out, when
that
happened, I was like, I'm not accustomed to people not losing it. I said, I have seen the Giants blow leads after lead after lead. Yep. I've seen the Raiders just stop playing in the 4th, and I'm not used to people actually following through and winning. Their coach is everything.
Yeah, he's coach of the year.
Coach of the year.
Yeah, they got coach of the year, rebounder of the year, and I forget what Fox got, but he got some kind of award too. But
he did. You're right.
All three of them got hardware. So
really great year for Sacramento.
Did you hear? Cool. Speaking of the Giants, so they're in Mexico City.
Yeah.
First regular season game in baseball history in Mexico City.
Okay.
And they're playing the Padres.
Gigantes.
Anyway, so because the elevation of Mexico City is so high, it's like old school Colorado. I think the first game was like 16-11, and there were 4 back-to-back home runs.
Crazy.
So but the two funny stories. So first of all, Brandon Crawford had to get water after a home run jog because the altitude is so high. But what's funny is he hit a home run, and they reviewed it and said it wasn't a home run.
Oh.
And then on the next pitch, he hit a home run again.
Well, maybe he's hungover from all the tequila.
Nah,
he is Mexico.
I don't think they're used. That's pretty high up there.
I know.
That's pretty high up there. So anyway.
All right. So speaking of, okay, so the other thing I was going to say about the Kings is like, Stephanie and I we talked about how great it is to see real fans at the bottom in front row, and because they didn't give up their seats and they're going to be there because this is a turn of events for the season. And I love seeing it because in LA or whatever, you see 3 rows of celebrities and, owner wives and all that nonsense. Whereas at the Kings games, it seems like it's predominantly local fans who are there going, no, I paid nothing for these seats because nobody wanted to come. And here we are. Right. And now we're going to just soak up every ounce of it.
Yeah.
I would like, however, to mention this happened in game 1. E40 goes to all of the Golden State Warrior games. And he came to Sacramento, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a lot of divide on this. People are saying he was rude, he was standing up, he was being whatever. And then I saw the footage of some fucking cunt, blonde woman
yelling at him,
recording him and yelling at him. And he's just like, chill. He's not doing anything. And they kicked him out because he had the audacity to be standing up and cheering. And I'm like, you know what? Way to go, rookies, not knowing how to behave at a fucking playoff game. Way to represent Sacramento.
I'm curious where he'll be today, because he'll be there for sure. I'm telling you right now.
Well, he didn't return. He didn't come back to Sacramento.
Well, he was at the last game in the Bay Area. So he loves the Giants, the Niners, and the Warriors.
I will say this: the Warriors were outraged. They were disgusted.
Yeah.
And they're just like, it's like kicking Jack Nicholson out of a Laker game. Like, what are you doing? This guy has been coming to our game since we were nobodies.
Yeah. They're like, I'll put you on the bench.
I was hoping they would, actually.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
And I'm just like, you know what? I am mortified by that freaking Karen
I'm surprised
behavior.
It didn't get bigger, the story.
Because there was no winning, and it has nothing to do.
They released some mutual statement. I didn't read it, but both E40 and the Kings released some mutual thing. I assume it had some sort of apology in it. But
I will say, I don't know if he apologized, but
not him.
But you know what's funny is the woman, apparently the one that got him kicked out.
Let's call her Karen.
Fine.
She's
the one that needs her hair done and a wardrobe change immediately. She looks like she's from 1987. Apparently, she was identified as somebody who works at a winery around here. And the winery came out and said, we're reviewing everything. We take no responsibility for whatever that person did. At this point, it looks like it wasn't one of our employees, but we are investigating. I'm like, everybody's like, it was fucking her.
What winery do you know?
I think it was Bogle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
One of the local.
Yep. Yep. Right at the front, right third row. And people were like freeze framing the TV, circling her, going, that's her. And I was like, oh,
that's great.
That's embarrassing. National television people, come on, get your shit together. Can we stop acting like the freaking small town that we are for 5 minutes?
For 5 minutes.
God. And it's E40. I don't know about anybody else, but I wouldn't want to fuck with him. I wouldn't fuck with E40.
I love E40.
Well, of course we do. We're Bay Area people, but I'm just saying, I wouldn't anyway.
He's a rapper, people. A really good rapper.
He's a very good rapper.
Basically invented the hyphy movement.
So speaking of television and people like that who want to create a ruckus because God forbid we can't just sit and enjoy anything without making a scene of ourselves. I saw this thing trending on, I think it was on Twitter, and then it ultimately moved to TikTok.
Okay.
What did people do to get attention before social media? Because, when social media started, it was about, status, like, how am I feeling? What am I doing today? That kind of crap. I have looked at my old Facebook statuses.
You would just make comments like, is feeling better today.
Exactly. It was really weird. Or what are we watching on TV or whatever? Well, now, then Instagram arrived and it was about being thirsty all these, sexy shots, filters,
what thirsty means,
cleavage, ass, whatever. And then it's just kind of evolved. And so, but that's what people do to get attention. They're like, how can I get attention? I'll show my body. How can I get attention? I'll fall down, or I'll make a joke or whatever. So I was thinking, there's one girl, she's like, I have some things that I think people used to do to get attention before social media was a thing. And the very number one thing is order fajitas.
So the plate sizzles?
Because the entire restaurant sees this huge metal platter coming out.
Sizzling.
And everybody was like, oh, that smells amazing. Who's getting those?
That's great.
Right? And on that vein, then it's letting the waitstaff know it's your birthday. So they can come out and scream at you.
Did I ever tell you the time I was in college that we did that at Denny's? Did I tell you that story?
Yes, you did.
They
don't sing there.
No. But you get like free ice cream or whatever. And we were studying for finals, and there was like 10 of us, and we studied at Denny's for hours. And progressively, the waitress was kind of hammered. So we just progressively told her, oh, it's so-and-so's birthday too. And we just kept getting ice cream.
And then another one that I thought of, and this reminds me of when I was going to the mall as a kid, to get attention, having a bird or a snake on your body. People would walk around with a bird on their shoulder, like or have a snake wrapped around their shoulders and walk up and down the mall waiting for someone to approach. And either that or you stared.
Yeah, sure.
It drew attention. And that was the whole point, right?
Of course.
I thought that was a really funny one. And then also the people that wear sombreros when they go to a Mexican dinner or lunch for work.
A lot of this attention getting happening at a Chevy's.
Well, Chevy's is the ultimate attention place, isn't it? If you think about it.
They used to have a tortilla making machine.
The other one is body shots. People would do body shots to get attention.
Yeah.
Remember those things where it looked like a barbershop chair and you would sit in it and they'd pour shots in and then they'd spin you?
Did that. I didn't do it, but I was a DJ at a club that did that when I was a younger. We did it for Halloween or something like that.
I just remember seeing it. I'm like, never in a million years would I do that.
Never in a million.
Never. Why would you do that?
Cheap ass shots, kamikaze, stuff like that.
Attention.
Yeah, obviously.
Some of the things that I thought to me was the dramatic behavior entering or exiting a club, walking in or leaving hysterically crying, wanting someone to follow you out, making a big scene, that happened. And it's always that one girl or the guy who gets really, his girlfriend storms out and because he was doing something stupid and he starts pushing his friend, leave me alone, let me go. That whole soap opera, that kind of shit, that couple that does that crap.
Are we saying that people don't do these things anymore because social media gives you attention, or is it this is a list of things like
this is what people did to get attention before social media? 100%.
Okay, got it.
Which means they're going to be vintage behavior because we've had social media for 20 years. Exactly. I don't know about you, but when I was in school, if somebody had like a doctor's appointment and then they would show up like right before lunch. And they would have McDonald's waiting for lunch so they can eat their McDonald's.
Because you had a morning dental appointment and you got McDonald's on the way to school because you weren't going to have time to get.
So it's a treat. Well, you get a treat. But it's like you walk in, not only are you walking in tardy, you missed 3 periods of class, thank God, so your day is like half over already. And then you walk in with a Big Mac.
And everybody else is eating cafeteria food
and
or packed lunches.
You walk into algebra with a Big Mac, Happy Meal, and a giant Coke.
Probably
and you're just waiting
some fries in the back row.
10 more minutes before you get to leave and go outside and eat outside and be like, this is a great day. And everybody's staring at you going, can I have a fry? And you're like, no, absolutely not. My mother bought this for me.
Hilarious.
I deserve this. I got a shot today.
Okay, the boo-boo. Look at my butt. Look at my Band-Aid.
The other thing, and this one, I don't know, do you have any or you just listen? These are ones that I thought up when I was thinking of this.
I had no prior warning to use my brain. Sorry.
Well, I don't care. Removing mufflers from your car. Like that was, oh my God.
Yeah.
How many people?
That one still happens. Not removing as much. Now they just make them loud.
But like, or sitting at a stoplight and you have the bass up so heavy that it's literally shattering windows.
I was gonna say like stereos that cost more than the car they're in. Those are always good.
but making sure everyone can hear it,
Of course.
so that we
And
all
it
have
rattles-
to turn and we all have to
like
look.
crazy. Yeah.
And then they're acting like, I don't know what you're looking at. I'm looking straight ahead. I'm just enjoying my art.
Right.
When obviously you want everybody to turn and look at your piece of crap,
Of course.
Corolla.
Corolla.
The other one I was thinking about was when girls would take off their tops in the concerts.
Oh, well.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the ultimate.
I think
That's the ultimate. I don't know if they do that anymore. Do people even do that anymore? Do they still take off their tops?
I assume so, but I have not been
Well,
in a festival in a
hair
while.
bands are no longer a thing, and that's kind of the thing.
No, but if
I've never seen anyone take their top off
bet
sitting on someone's shoulders at
raves,
Coachella.
like the raves, you don't think?
I don't
like
know.
The DJ concerts,
I don't
maybe?
think so. No, I don't think so. But anyway, I thought those were really funny.
Those are good.
But I couldn't think of any other good ones. But I thought the ordering fajitas one was by far
hilarious.
the number one.
Yeah.
And I agree completely.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Speaking of fajitas, you and I were, I don't know, you and I always make fun of Wiener Schnitzel's ads, their commercials.
Yeah.
We make fun of them because we're like, first of all, I can't even believe Wiener Schnitzel is still in business.
I can't believe it exists still.
And I don't know how far and wide they are in this vast land of ours. If they're from sea to shining sea, I don't know. I know that in Northern California, they're a thing. And they have been since we were kids. Yeah. I don't know. Are there Wiener Schnitzels in the Bay Area?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Oh, there were.
Well, and there are these triangular huts. Well,
that you could drive through the middle of.
Exactly. It was a very cool experience, like A&W root beer.
Very, yeah.
But you and I were like, God, can you believe they're like making
back in the days when bowling alleys were the hot place to go. I don't even know.
They're selling stuff that doesn't even have anything to do with hot dogs now. Like it's a completely different menu, and they're weird. They're using weird ads to try to get your attention, and it's still just Wiener Schnitzel. But and then you had mentioned you're like, what fast foods did you eat?
Oh, right.
When you were growing up, and I was like, honestly, my mom was pretty hippy dippy, and
so you didn't do a fast food a lot.
We did not go out to eat. I don't know about anybody else, but in the 70s and 80s, our family did not go out to eat nearly like we do now. No.
Oh yeah, no, never as much.
So it's like, it was a treat.
There were way too many casserole dishes at home to go out all the time.
It was a treat to go out.
Yeah.
To get fast food anyway.
Yeah.
So when my parents divorced, my dad is all about the fast food.
Oh.
So we would get Taco Bell.
The game, yeah. Oh, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell was the place for him. That was his favorite, Taco Bell. My mom would get us McDonald's or KFC.
Oh, okay.
Occasionally, my dad would do the Wiener Schnitzel thing. And my mom even did the Wiener Schnitzel thing. But when I was really, really little, we would do that. And when my parents were together, it was A&W root beer.
I gotta say, the Wiener Schnitzel corn dog is pretty fucking good.
It is good. I mean, I haven't had one in probably...
Well, I mean, I remember it being pretty good.
I think I don't even remember the last time I've had a corn dog in general or even a Wiener Schnitzel corn dog in general. It's probably been since like my 20s, like literally a lifetime ago.
And if you're trying to, like self-cut and hate yourself, a Wiener Schnitzel chili dog is a pretty good solution.
You know what?
Now I want one.
Those Wiener Schnitzel chili dogs, I stand by those.
Oh, man.
We're
good. Talking shit, but their food's not terrible if you're in the mood. You got to be in the mood, though.
I'm not in the mood anymore. No. But back in the day, when I was a kid, those were the things.
Right.
Anyway, so you and I were talking about that. I don't know. What were your...
So, I had... A&W was big for us, right?
Same.
So we had...
That root beer is
not only
best.
that, you could... At the time, anyway, most of the A&Ws in the Bay Area were you drove up.
Right.
It was dry. Put the tray on your...
And they would
like the old rollers. They didn't come out. Yeah, some of them roller skated, but like it was a very. They had obviously taken over some of these old 50s and 60s kind of drive ups, and we that was like, I don't even know if they had a lot of drive-throughs before then. That was the drive-through. And so speaking on the thing and ordering the Papa Burger and
I remember that,
and the cold ass mug root beer, man, it's so good. I think we went to Foster's Freeze quite a bit because we had one near our house. So that was kind of like a Dairy Queen kind of thing.
Right.
They're still around, actually, some of them. And then, but restaurant-wise, we were big on the buffet.
Oh.
So we did like Smorgasbobs was the name of it. Smorgasbobs. You know what's funny, though, is I ended up working for the guy that used to own those smorgasbords when I moved up here to Sacramento.
That's
because
hilarious.
He opened Bobby D's, which was
right,
but it's the same family. And I was like, oh my God, we went to your restaurant all the fucking time as a kid. And I can see. And then actually, we did that a little bit in our poorer days with the little ones. We hit the hometown buffet.
Literally the only time I can think of when we would go out would be pizza or Mexican food. We would go to Las Portales in Santa Clara. That's the place. In fact, I had such a thought about it. I looked it up, 6 months ago, and it's still there.
Yep.
It's changed, which kind of makes me sad. I'm like, oh, they don't have the red plastic cups anymore. That's too bad. But the food still looks good. They had the best refried beans I remember. But what made us start laughing about it is I said, I did not have a wonderful childhood. It was not idyllic by any stretch. However, there are things that I understand now that would cause frustration.
Yeah.
For example, there's a reason why my parents never took the four of us out to dinner all the time.
Oh my God, you guys are probably terrible.
We weren't, though. We were terrified of our parents, but we could not. We're awkward. We are awkward people.
Oh, something's getting spilled. I'm sure that's what it is.
The children, the four of us, couldn't get through one meal without someone spilling a drink.
I knew it.
And it's just somebody reaching for a chip and knocking over an entire. And here's the thing: after the first or second time, my parents were like, "No one's ordering sodas. Don't even ask. It's water only." So we would get water.
That's great.
And so when it spilled, it was just water. But I can literally see my parents' faces. Even to this day, I can see my parents' faces. And, I think about how young they were when they had us, because they were really young. Yeah. I can see my dad's face where it's just like, God, in his mind, he's like, fuck, every time,
I wish Stephanie was here for this conversation because she'd back that up.
Well, I was going to have this discussion with her, but she's in Mexico. So anyway.
Working for the cartel part-time to make a little extra cash.
God, her and her cocaine habit.
I swear to God.
Anyway, so yeah, and I was just laughing about it. And I was trying to remember when we started taking our kids out to dinner, not just McDonald's, when we used to do real dinners.
Like sit down,
Macaroni Grill. That's the
They did.
place.
They loved their macaroni grill. They did.
We went there many, many times, and sure as shit that somebody would spill. I think I'm going
to have a birthday dinner there.
And I remember going, no one's getting, everyone's getting
drinks,
water.
No drinks, no sodas.
No sodas, because I don't want that on myself. I don't want it on the table.
You get water, and we get this tableside Chianti. That's what's happening.
Oh, God.
Where they leave the bottle.
So now, looking back, I'm like, I fully understand why my parents never took us out to dinner or lunch or whatever. We did fast food, McDonald's. That is it.
Maybe that's why we went to A&W a lot, because we just ate in the car. It had a lid.
I am sure that if you were to talk to your parents and say,
"Oh yeah,
did we spill? Were we just disgusting, a mess?" The one thing we weren't those kids that like ground French fries into the carpet.
Oh, no.
We were not filthy people, but we did spill all the time. And if we spilled into our food, well, you're just gonna have to deal with it. That's your food. We're not getting you more food. And then the waitress would always feel bad, and they'd bring us a new dinner, and my dad would be like, "You're really lucky, because I was gonna make you eat that." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I know." And I think she knew it, which is why she brought me this, because you're a monster. But we're idiots for spilling.
I was thinking that.
God,
I was trying to think that I'm sure this will. Not surprise you, but given where I grew up, I was trying to think of did we go to Mexican restaurants? Mm-hmm. And although this about me, my memory is not the best.
Sure,
nothing comes to mind. Nothing comes to mind as a Mexican restaurant. But I think it's because our neighbors for over a decade was this Hispanic family, and they made the best goddamn food.
You didn't need to go. They probably fed you guys all the time.
God, we had so good food.
Yeah. The way families of our people cook, they had plenty to share. Yeah, I'm sure they sent you over.
I remember going to
tons of yummy food.
Not Mike Ortiz's birthday. That was my best friend, but from early days. But I went to somebody's birthday party, and I was really young. I was probably 6. And it was my first Mexican birthday party. And I definitely was the only white motherfucker there, for sure. And I ate stuff that I didn't know any better. I had not learned the ways of the jalapeno yet, and I was 6, and I got laughed at quite a bit because I couldn't handle the heat.
I don't blame you. Just like yesterday, we go, okay, very privileged behavior, but we went to Napa to pick up some wine that we had purchased, and we stayed and we had some wine while we were sitting there, and we ordered, hey, we'll get the charcuterie. That sounds really yummy. We'll snack a little bit, blah, blah, blah. And they had this mustard. They had this mustard with the charcuterie, and I was like, and you're like, oh, this is kind of spicy mustard. I'm like, oh, really? Yummy, because I love spicy. Yeah. So I took a little piece of a baguette slice, and I put a nice little dollop of it, and I took a bite, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really spicy. Next thing I know, literally, I feel like somebody's driving nails up my nose. It wasn't even spicy. It was pure pain.
Yeah, it was.
It was definitely horseradish
disguised as mustard.
It was horrifyingly. Yeah, spicy wasn't even the thing.
And we've had that mustard a million times.
It didn't even taste good. That was the thing. There was no seasoning. It was just pure heat. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
But it was that clear sinuses wasabi type heat too.
I punched myself in the face trying to get the pain out. I was like, and I was hitting my face.
That reminds me, you did have an awkward moment, and it wasn't that.
Oh, when I slapped myself?
When you slapped yourself because there was a mosquito near you?
And I told you, I'm like, I hurt myself. A mosquito, for whatever reason.
They're bad right now, right?
I don't know what's going on. Ugh. To the point where I literally bought something to...
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Anyway, so it landed on my face, and I literally bitch slapped myself. And I looked at you, and I said, I just slapped myself really hard.
I heard it.
And you're
I didn't
like,
see it.
You're like, yeah. I go, it was a mosquito. And I said, but I think I hurt myself. Like, I really slapped myself really hard.
I wonder if anybody's ever given themselves a black eye doing something like that.
And then you said, and then you look at me, and your eyes narrow, and you're like, we all do what we got to do. And I said, yeah, it's true. But I did that, and I went, you know what? I mean, I choose violence when someone's fucking with me. I hit hard. I'm like, that's why there's only one hit that happens. I mean, I'm old now. I would probably not choose violence, but I mean, I would if I had to.
Right.
But I'm like, damn, I hit hard. And that wasn't even hard. Like, I didn't even use all my strength on that one. And I have T-Rex arms. I'm not even that strong.
Funny.
But when I'm angry, apparently, like I was angry at this mosquito. And you know what? I don't even think I killed it. Even worse. It's probably laughing at me, which I hate.
Sucker.
Anyway, yes, let's do some ugly and awkward moments of the week. I'm not playing the music. I hate it.
I know you tell me that every time I'm on the show. Just don't.
I'm just gonna continue saying it.
Then do you want me to delete it?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's get a new one. Okay. I don't even care what we do.
All right.
Maybe nothing, because we don't always have an ugly and awkward moment.
Sure.
Do you have an awkward moment?
I don't. Do I?
I know. I'm thinking. I'm like, do you? I don't even know. I don't know. But here's mine.
Okay, go.
So you and I have a bathroom that we want to renovate.
Yes.
The tile in the shower is just worn out. It needs to be redone. It just does. It's not dangerous or whatever, but it's dated, and we want to update it before, we sell, or someday if we sell, but we still want to update it. Anyway, so I bought adhesive ducts.
Oh, nice.
As a joke. And I showed them to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they're really cute.
You did yesterday.
And so I'm going to put them on the shower floor to motivate us to get that done, because I don't want to have adhesive ducts on my shower floor forever, but I also don't want to slip and fall.
Doesn't go with the master bathroom motif.
Not really. That's not the look I'm looking for. But for now, they're cute, and they're going to be put on there so that I don't slip and fall when I'm shaving my legs. Anyway. Good. So the other night, I don't know what's going on. I think it's the weather. I feel like a giant raisin. I cannot get enough moisturizer on my body. I'm drinking a crap ton of water. I am moisturizing from head to toe, and I just cannot seem to feel moisturized.
Okay.
I know it's the weather change. Anyway, the other night, I moisturized before I went to bed. I was just like slathered. Lotion everywhere. Stop with the smile.
What?
You weirdo. But I'm
behind the mic. You can't see nothing.
So I totally did. I was smooth and moisturized. I'm like, oh my God, finally, I feel normal. Okay. So I'm watching TV, and I'm like, oh, you know what? I have to pee before I go to bed.
Oh, no.
So I get up, completely had forgotten that I had moisturized everything. Walk into the bathroom and almost immediately slipped fell.
You fell?
Almost.
Oh.
I grabbed myself, but the problem is that even my hands were moisturized. So when I grabbed the counter, it slipped, and I stopped, and I saw myself. No, I am naked as well.
Right.
So this would have been a horrific scene. Like horrible if I had fallen and hurt myself. And I turned and I saw myself in the mirror and I pointed at myself and I'm like, don't do that again.
You can't talk to yourself.
You can't go out like this. This is not the way. This is not how things end.
That's not how we can die.
That's not happening. This is not how you break your leg or, have to explain to somebody in the ER. You're like, well, I was really dry and I moisturized from head to toe and I was, whatever. And they're going to be like, okay, anyway, so you fell in the bathroom? Like, yes,
right.
Just like all people.
That's funny.
It was really scary. I was like, holy shit. Like, that is not the way I want to go down. So I'm like, okay, that's it. Slippers. Just put them on. Don't fall. And then I had to go to the bathroom again because I'm old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Slippers. Slip into the toilet so that you don't fall.
Oh my God.
Anyway, yeah, that was my awkward moment.
That's amazing. That actually, the rubber duck thing reminds me, I think I started to tell you earlier, but I was came across a story of like embarrassing moments at the beach. So I guess these are like ugly and awkward moments, if you will.
Okay, give me one.
And I'll give you one because I thought it was really funny. Well, first of all, the phrase "I was in Mexico," so maybe this was Stephanie.
Maybe.
I was in Mexico last year with my family. My little sister and I were swimming in the ocean, and there was a lot of seaweed and debris in the water, but we just picked it up and threw it farther away from us. I go to do this and realized immediately that whatever was in my hand was too squishy.
Oh, no.
It was human poop.
That's disgusting.
In my hand, my 25-year-old ass ran screaming and crying from the water across the resort to wash my hands. God. I had many daiquiris afterward.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah, there were some bad ones.
Gross.
This one's not, I guess it's kind of beachy. They were on vacation. So I'm going to give you one more. I was on vacation with my family. I was 13 years old. We were at the beach. I was starting to get a little burnt, so I decided to head back into the hotel. We had a ground room floor with a sliding glass door that was left open, so I didn't bother with the key. I went in, I took a shower, pounced around the bathroom, stark naked, and bam, there were 3 strangers staring at me with their jaws dropped. I had gone back to the wrong room.
Awesome.
And showered in somebody else's hotel room.
That's kind of hard to do.
Yeah. Well, they came at it from the outside. They came the sliding glass door because they were beachfront.
That's pretty scary. And I would hate that a lot. And I wouldn't believe you that you were doing this on accident. But then I would know. I'm like, you know what? Honestly, this is probably something I would do. How many times? How many times have I left to go to the bathroom at a dark restaurant and completely incapable of finding where I'm from?
Yes.
Like, where am I supposed to go? I can't find your head. So I'm like, I'm lost. I don't know.
Happens.
It happens all the time.
It happens.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so before we say goodbye, I'm not going to promise you that Stephanie's coming back next weekend because, travel.
Mexico, cartel.
You never know.
Anything can happen.
She might be El Chapo. You don't know her life.
El Chapo.
Is that Jerry died.
Ah. Yes.
Jerry Springer has passed. People have a very emotional reaction to him. Whether they're like, oh, he was the mayor of Cincinnati. Oh, he's this or that. And some people are like, he's a freaking asshole. And, goodbye. Good riddance for highlighting, the dregs of humanity. Sure. Because it's people that you would normally not see on TV. Some people blame him for the reason why Honey Boo Boo is popular because he brought those people to the forefront and put them on camera. Oh. And now we have all this other stuff.
Got it.
And I'm like, I don't know if I would give him that much credit.
Jerry Springer, the forefather of TLC.
For TLC's spiral into horrific, whatever. But he definitely was some kind of something, for sure. And he had cancer. I didn't know, obviously. Yeah. And then Harry Belafonte,
Deo.
He's passed as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was old, though, right? He was in his 90s.
I think he was.
Yeah, it had to be.
Yes. Anyway, all right. Well, we've got all the important things.
Bye, dead slibs.
Out of the way. Enjoy your angel package. Well, thank you for listening, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Peace out.